Welcome back to The Truth in This Art. Thank you for joining me for my conversations bridging arts, culture, and community. I am your host, Rob Lee. And before we get started, I'd like to remind you to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, Apple, YouTube, Spotify. Let us know what you think. 5 stars is great, but let us know what you think about this podcast. Thank you. So today we have a special guest for a special conversation. My guest is the CEO and founder of audaCITY, a company dedicated to promoting and celebrating Black art and artists. My guest's work aims to provide a platform for emerging Black artists to showcase their talents in various forms, including painting, music, literature, comedy, performance, all of those different areas. Please welcome Crystal Wamalwa. Welcome to the podcast.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. As I'm one to do, right? Especially when, I got to do it right. I got to do it right. I almost forgot.
Yes.
Thank you for wearing your glasses. It's a running bit. Mm-hmm. So thank you for wearing your glasses. And before we get started, Crystal, I'd like to give you the space to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about audaCITY Tours and a memorable experience, because you're Baltimore baby and all of that stuff. So give us the details.
Come on, here's the tea. So Crystal, born and raised in Baltimore. Baltimore. For the homies, listen. But for me, audaCITY Tours started as a passion project in 2019. So I really just wanted to host events, do fashion shows, bring in different singers and different things like that. No real business model. And then fast forward to me wanting to set up for my third show, moved out of Pittsburgh once the world shut down in 2020, wasn't able to do that third show. And then fast forward again, 2023, I'm back in the professional space, working in higher education, HR, back in my big girl era. And and I walked away from my first big paying jobs. I was getting paid $60,000. That my husband and I, we were over the 100,000 threshold. We were living large. Yeah. I stayed at that job for 23 days. My husband, and it was 5 months after my daughter had been born. And so my husband was like, you know what? You have the time, go back and do the thing that you love the most, which was hosting these events. But I wanted to host these events and not just say, oh, I'm just putting together shows and, no real mission and vision. So that's where audaCITY came to be. My husband actually came up with the name audaCITY. I give him all credit for that name. And so really building out this business, this empire, this vision of what audaCITY is, where we are a traveling immersive art experience. And so we work with all mediums in one space and really allowing our attendees to engage with authentic raw art, but also building an artist community for our artists who want to engage with audaCITY on and off the stage. And so it's really a ecosystem of artists where we're building community, collaboration, and working together to really bring a voice to local Black artistry that may not have access to the mainstreams.
Thank you. And thank you for having the audacity to pursue. That was corny. I know it was
corny, but I love it. It's okay.
And thank you for that. I think, having an explanation, and definitely you're making my job a little easier, because that touches on a few of my later questions. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this. Mm-hmm. So, we're going back to 2019, right? Yes. This podcast started in 2019. And I think it was that sort of point where folks were like, I need to figure out my lane. I need to figure out my thing. Yeah. And at that point, I'd already been a podcaster for about 10 years.
Okay.
So it was like, what is the shift? What do I want to do? And having conversations and trying to enrich this community, whether it be the community locality as far as Baltimore or the community of folks that look like you and I. That's what the intent was up front. So was there an experience that you look back at as that was something that you saw that you're like, I want to do that if the opportunity presents itself, that may have laid sort of the foundation or planted the seeds for audaCITY?
Yeah, absolutely. So my first event was really where the seed was planted.
Sure.
Hosted my first event, 30 tickets. I only did 30 tickets for $10. Because, in Baltimore, when they say tickets for only $10, only $10. So Put on my first event. I asked my mom to be my decorator. I asked my dad to set up my PA system. My cousins were my models, really bringing in my family. And even if they weren't participating in the show, they purchased a ticket. Family and friends. And that moment really cemented how I felt and how I want other people to feel when it comes to art. Right. And so with the first show, I was excited because I had really started getting into sewing. So I used to do custom tutus and t-shirts under my business, Crystal Tutus Paradise, which was named after my niece. And so, wanting to share the tutus that I made and everything like that, I was like, you know what? I want to put together a show where I'm showing fashion, where there's a singer, there's a poet, someone's the host, and really just trying to like bring everybody together just to have a good time. We had food. We had a visual artist who had her paintings as the backdrop. And the theme was presenting my tutu collection and my t-shirt collection for the My Hair Is Done. As someone who has been natural since 2011, 12.
Sure.
Really stepping into that. My hair is done when it's in a fro, when it's in Bantu knots. And so really wanting to push that narrative. Granted, the t-shirt line was a little flop, but we'll come back to that, but how I felt in that moment, bringing all these different arts together in one space, I really was just like, wow, I really want to capture this again. And it really was the first high, and so that was really the first moment when I was like, dang, I want to do this again. And thankfully, I was able to do it again a couple months later.
Sure.
But now being able to do it in multiple cities, because that's the component that's different. But that first show in February of 2019 really cemented that, like, I was really made to do that.
No, I dig it. And we're definitely going to dive into a little bit later into sort of like the tour aspect of where we're at now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think when we get to those stages where we get that first high, we get, they say the first one's free. No, it's you get that initial high, and like and I said it yesterday. I was teaching a class yesterday. I was sharing with you before we got started, and I said more than one time, I was like, I am shy. And they're like, no, you're not. I was like, I'm super shy.
I understand.
But it's one of those things where I'm an Aquarius. So I activate too.
Okay.
And, it put me in front of some folks, able to do my thing. So to the point of it being a high, right?
Yeah.
I really enjoy movie reviews and I enjoy organizing things. So for about a year, I did monthly movie reviews for movies that were filmed in Baltimore. And it was something that was a bit different, but it still had that DNA and that framework of what I'd done in the past. And it was tapping into that artistic community. So I definitely relate to the high. And the first movie we did was Meteor Man. And people were like, that was filmed here. And I was like, yeah, pull up, come through.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. I mean, because with the first show, it really was, at that time, I didn't know what was being built. Sure. I didn't know what groundwork was being laid. I just was like, I just want to put on a show. Like, I just loved, because at that point in time, I had worked with various artists in the community, like Sir Alex, Keisha Linus, Tice, and like going to their events, working the doors for them, getting to meet the artists that they're working with behind the scenes, and seeing that behind the scenes, I was just like, dang, you have the comedy poetry mashup, you have the poetry music, and then, you got a little bit of rap in there every so often, but as time went on, I was like, there's really nothing that's kind of like a fusion of all these things, right? Because with audaCITY, we have a film that we're going to be showcasing. We had a double Dutch team here in Pittsburgh. And so it's just like, really bringing together as many art mediums as possible in one space and making it an experience is really where I felt audaCITY, which is kind of growing over the last couple of years. And so am I sad that my third show got canceled? Yes. But I'm glad because it allowed me the time to like sit and reminisce and just really think and build on my team and the mission and what we wanted to do.
Yeah, it's sort of having that time to take a break from it and not be in it, where you're able to sort of build out things. And the reason why I mentioned the thing that I was doing, because I literally just talked about this, the movie thing on Tuesday, about sort of this one, because I had one that was canceled as well. It didn't happen. And I was like, yo, look, I want to do a screening of this movie, Good Time. And my friend is like, go on, tell me more about it. Like, look, there's LSD in like a bottle of Sprite in the movie. It's a plot point. And she was like, go on. I was like, I want to have a cocktail that relates to the movie that's on there. It's Sprite and it looks purple. And she was like, you're just going to be making lean? I was like, I'm not. But the point is,
Yeah.
of having a cocktail, a full experience, not just come to a movie, but the full
Mm,
experience, the full vision, and having
yeah.
folks get the full thing. It,
Yeah.
and seeing how that can expand. And with sort of time removed, you're thinking about sort of who should be involved, who I have in a
Yeah.
network, and all of these different things
Hmm.
versus, well, this is available. Let me just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It changes the narrative very quickly when you immediately go to, okay, I like this, but how can I expand it? Like how can I grow? Like who can I trust to bring it on the ground up? Who can I trust to share this? Because the thing is, you learn very quickly. You can't tell everybody your mission, your vision. You can't share everything with everybody.
Yeah.
So when I made that first phone call to the first two people on the Audacity team, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because I knew once I called them, it wasn't going to be like, oh, posting on Facebook, calling their homegirls, talking trash. Like
Yeah.
I knew those people were going to be. So it's really good that you were able to share that concept with a friend, knowing that you went into that conversation, that it was going to be a conversational piece
Yeah.
and not a think piece that she would write about later. Like, I just can't stand when people want to do this, da, da, da. And it's that subliminal posting. And it's like, girl, grow up.
Because I think when we have these visions, we're
Mm-hmm.
the only us's. And
Yeah,
that came out weird, but it is, it's more than one
I
of us.
get it. I
We're
get it.
we're the only us's. So when we
Mm-hmm.
have that and we're from here, you're based in Pittsburgh now, but you're definitely a Baltimorean.
Yes.
And when I think of Baltimore, and I want to get your take on this, I
Mm-hmm.
think about, and I'll sound real bougie when I say this, our cultural discernment. I think that we have really good taste here. We know what's good. We know what's kind of whack. We know what's sort of
Yeah,
faking the funk. And I think having that sensibility and then having sort of a vision, those things come together.
it
That's what
really
I'm hearing in what you do. That's what I aspire and what I do. But what's your take in that area?
No, absolutely. I really feel I miss home. Like I miss home. There will as many places that I may move in the future and different things, home will always be there. Baltimore for me, once I moved out of my parents' house and I was able to begin exploring Baltimore from my own perspective and not my parents, it really allowed me to take in the small things like Graffiti Alley, the small cultural moments of Lexington Market, getting that frozen cup from such and such on the block, like, and then when my family moved into the city, because we're in Park Heights now, I say we as if I'm still there, but like we're in Park Heights now. And so Baltimore for me really is the essence. I feel like what I'm trying to constantly capture
Yeah.
while on the road, but realizing that I can't take Baltimore everywhere with me, but realistically I can. And so really wanting to build that sense of community that I experienced in Baltimore, the artists that I worked with, the shows that I went to, the people that I would go to support, it really is no other place. Baltimore's art space is diverse and it's a collaborative space. And if you go to the same events, you tend to see the same group of people, but within that group of people, whenever one person makes it out of that group, they putting everybody on,
Yeah.
you know? And that's the one thing I do appreciate. Like once you have your group of people, once I eat, we all about to eat, because comedians, once they have access to like a Marlon Wayans or, these different artists, they bring their homeboys and say, yo, come with me to this event that I'm opening for. I'm going to be backstage. I want you to meet this person. And
Yeah.
I think with the art scene in Baltimore, it continues to allow a collaborative space to grow and really be loved in that space. Because the thing is with Baltimore, once you show you're serious about it, they'll take you in. And I think that's the thing that I love the most. They won't just throw you out there to the wolves. They'll let you hang out with them a little bit, but being very intentional on how you present yourself on that stage is very important.
Yeah. And, as we got connected through sort of that referral piece, right? Where,
Yeah.
I do this. I'm one of the few that are here that do this, technically doing it on my own steam, own.
Yeah.
And it's that. And,
Yeah.
when I'm able to get some of these really high ranking people and some of these like other people that don't have sort of the clout and the name recognition, but are doing really
Yeah.
interesting work, it's like those are the ones that matter so much because it's like,
Yeah.
you got taste. Like, yeah, I see you, man. But the
Like,
ones that are higher, it just has that vibe of you're trying to get in because you see what things are. You see where things are at.
exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. That connection definitely came from me having the audacity.
Yeah.
Because I called the office of that individual and I was just like, hey, I've been trying to get in touch with someone. And they're like, oh, well, we'll email you. I said, no, I'm 5 minutes away. I'll see you shortly.
Love
And I just walked on up in there and my mom was able to help get me in the building. But my mom was able to see me
it.
have the audacity to talk to someone, to like advocate for myself. And having her see that moment was such a fun experience for me because it's like she got to see me elevate myself in that moment. Though inside I was screaming. Baby, when I tell you I was screaming, I was like, I don't know you. You don't know me. You walk, he literally was an innocent bystander at this point.
Yeah.
Like he walked out of his office on the way to something else. But it just goes to show like that collaborative effort that does exist in Baltimore. But the thing is you just have to move about it the right way because people want to help people move up. I really want to help people get away from that narrative, like that the crabs in a barrel mentality when they talk about the Baltimore art scene. Like people want to help. They just want to make sure you're not going to tear them down in a negative way because that's all they want to do.
My thing is always, it's like when I go out, it's gonna say, oh wow, like, yo, I'll show your ass now.
Yeah.
I turn into a dad. I don't have any kids, but I turn into
Listen,
that.
don't embarrass me in front of these people.
Yes.
Act like you got some home training.
Right.
Right? Listen.
So it's one more thing I want to say before I move into sort of the tour portion. I had a very similar thing, the audacity, and this was, out of state. I went down into to DC to connect with the dude, and he was supposed to be on his podcast like years ago. And he had like an interesting story why he couldn't make it 3 years ago. So I literally went down and went to the building. I had to get the almost TSA situation. I was like, this is like a government building. Okay. Out here. So I go there and he was like, we got like 30 minutes. What do you need, man? I was like, I scheduled a meeting with you. Now we're having like a meeting versus a bunch of text message, email exchange, DMs. And for me, I consider what I do serious. I take what I do serious, but I don't take myself too serious. So that is the standard now that I have. Reach out because there are a lot of folks who are in some of these places who talk about collaboration and see the value, maybe who you talk to and what you do.
Yes.
And they don't approach it in the right way. It's a lot of like misspelled DMs and so on. Like, let's treat this on an even keel. You know what I mean?
Exactly. My thought process is act in the place that you want to be. And so it's all about the mentality. And so for me, whenever I have networking events or different things like that, I always dress the part. Baby, when I tell you, I want to walk into that event and I want to be the loudest, brightest, swearing thing. Like, I want people to be like, you see that girl that walked in with the lime green dress? And like, I just want that to be my presence because not only do I want you to gravitate to me, but once I start talking about my mission and vision, you're like, okay, everything makes sense. Yeah. And so it's just being very intentional about how I engage with these organizations because the thing is, people see audacity and they're like, oh, you're only a year in. And it's like, no, I have experience in this, but COVID, but also not using COVID as an excuse. So I'm very intentional about the way I move about these spaces, the way I try to build these relationships. And I have a lot of things to learn. And I'm very transparent with my team and the people that I work with. I've had some wins and I've had some losses within the last couple of weeks. Yesterday was one of those days, as I was listening to your podcast, yesterday was one of those days where I was just like, dang, I really should just go back to my cubicle. Like she was saying in the episode, I should go back to my cubicle and just mind my business. Because why did I leave when I was comfortable? But it was like, this is not my season of being comfortable. Right. And so I'm embracing it. I'm leaning into it. I had some very tough conversations today. But I walked away feeling like, okay, we can make it to the end of the year, at least. Yeah.
And before I move into this next question, it's definitely as a person who does multiple things and just, having, as one of my friends, she was like, what are you, Jamaican? And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, you have the day job, you teach, you do this really busy podcast schedule, you go to the gym like a madman. What do you do? And I'm like, look, I do too much is what I do.
Too much.
Busiest man in Baltimore. But it's sort of when you sort of run out of that fuel and run out of that energy, I haven't gotten to a stage where it's like the day job is wrapped, but
Yeah.
it is sort of the main funding thing. And
Yeah.
because I'm so productive and because I have so many tentacles and I have a system is really what it is
Yeah.
that, folks, even the people from my class, it's like, so when you started doing this full time, I was like, oh, no, 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 I don't do this full time, baby, at all.
Like, no, thank you. No, this
And it's making that distinction and then sort of making the
Mhm.
point that if you got a system and if you're putting in that work and if you're driven by sort of that
Yep.
mission authenticity, you'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of authenticity, you're sliding back to, hometown, home base. That's
Yeah.
coming up very soon. We're recording this on the 12th. And I
Yeah.
say July 20th, I believe is the date. So let's talk about it a little bit. So the tour is coming here. Let's talk about it.
The tour is coming to Baltimore. I am so excited. When we first started having team meetings, our first team meeting was, funnily enough, July 27th. Our first team meeting was July 27th, and we were just talking about hosting a concept event.
Sure.
But now to say, 4 years later, when my original show in Baltimore was supposed to be taking place, that I'm doing a 4-city tour and I'm doing a second stop in Baltimore is actually insane. I'm so excited with the people that we have lined up for the show, all the hard work that the team has put into it, the amount of stress that I've put myself through, my interns that I had today, they are able to see me building everything from the ground up. And so it's just been a whirlwind adventure. And this is only city 2, but this is the best city of the whole tour because it's home for me. I get to be home for a week. I get to go to Sonny's over East by Morgan.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait. I'm finna go to what's the other one? Dag, I literally
Go to Stucco's, go to Sonny's.
Come on, Sonny's. You know what? You just reminded me of Stoko's. I'm gonna go to Stoko's.
Those were both of my spots. One's around the corner from my crib, and I went to Morgan. So gang.
Listen, I went to Morgan for 1 semester. I think I'm the only person that had a bad experience at Morgan, so I ain't gonna talk too bad. But yeah, I'm gonna come home. I can't wait. The host actually for the show, he was one of the performers from the very first show.
Nice.
And so he's been with me throughout this whole journey. And now to be able to be like, yo, like, it's legit now, like, come through. He like, cool, I got you. And being able to rebuild this, rebrand, has been an amazing experience. And I can't wait to see a sold out show because I'm speaking it into existence. I can't wait to see a sold out show in my hometown.
Yeah, and we're going to do the shameless plug piece to tell folks where to get those tickets to make sure it's a sold out show. So it's sort of 2 other questions I want to include here. Mm-hmm. So talking about some of the folks, like what's in store for folks that are going to pull up, like what are they going to see and like sort of speak to any like impact that's there, because it's great to have like things to do and places to see, like just talent. And whenever I go to different cities, I'm like, why don't we have that in Baltimore? And you're coming back with that. So speak on that a bit, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So with each city is going to be different. For this year, I really wanted to take the talent that was located in each city and highlight the heart of art and what it looks like for each city. And so for Baltimore, I'm so excited. So we have the Be More Than Dance team, the ones that came up with the Park Heights Strut with Bunky. Yeah. We have an alumni, University of Baltimore alumni. So I went to UB, the featured fashion designer. She's also from UB. So it was really nice to tap back into that community. And so she'll be showcasing her brand Girl from Venus. We have Nia June, who will be showcasing her short film that's currently on display in the Baltimore Museum of Arts. Nice. We have it hosted by Tice. We have a singer, Nandi. She is a phenomenal singer. I met Nandi through her husband, whom I met while I was going to BCCC. And she is a beautiful soul. And I can't wait to hear her singing one of my favorite songs. And to see her and her husband together again, like on the stage, it just kind of like, I'm so excited. We have Sai, who is a trumpeter who I met in 2019. And when I met him, I think he was in high school. And I told him in 2019, I'm going to work with you. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I'm going to work with you. And he just so happened to pop up on my timeline. And I said, come here. Remember what I said in 2019? come here. And to see that he's grown and developed his own group, showcasing his music, I'm just so happy. We have an actors versus that's going to be a thing. Second time that it's been done, never seen before in the space such as this. And so I partnered with Awesome from the Actors Academy.
Sure.
And so he's coming together because he works with acting with Ramona. And so what they did was, during COVID, when they had those verses on Instagram, we're doing the same thing, except it's going to be with actors.
Yeah.
And so I am so excited to see how that comes into fruition. And then to top it all off, my homeboy is going to be our headliner. He's actually gone with us to Pittsburgh and having him in Baltimore. And he's going to be with us for the whole tour. Kyrie Creek, he is our headlining comedian.
Nice.
And so within that, that's just the stage performances. Yeah. We're going to have food by Angel Soul Food and Catering. We're going to have a live painter, the Black Genius Art Show. Nice. Ryan Robinson, he's going to be our live painter. We're going to have, I'm trying to remember everything. The vendors, we're going to have vending opportunities. And so our vendors are going to be Girl from Venus. We have Fly Nerd Apparel, which once again, I tell people, if you're from Baltimore and you don't know about Fly Nerd, what are you doing? Like Fly Nerd Apparel is like peak and I love her. She may not remember me, but I bought one of her shirts like in 2012. And ever since then, I've been a fan, We have the Adulty Queen. And so she's coming to share her podcast and her different things that she has coming up with her brand. And then finally, my favorite, B. Marie Accessories. She and I have collaborated and we have a big announcement that's going to be coming on the 20th, the day of the show. And so every single person, I'm just so excited. I've met everybody over the span of the last 10 years and every single one of them has been an intricate part of audaCITY's rebirth. Yeah. And I'm just so excited because it's more than just me sitting here telling you about the event, because this event is going to be a moment for me. There was a point in the Pittsburgh show when they was like, yeah, so we're going to have the founder come up. And I just stood up there and I looked out in the audience and I'm like, dang, it's here. Yeah. And like, I told my team, I was like, y'all, if I cry in every city, don't pay me no mind. They said, you're going to cry in every city. But to have it be with people that was at the very first show to people that I'm just meeting, I'm so excited to see it all come to fruition. Yeah, I mean, I can just talk for days about the team and how amazing everyone is. And so, yeah.
That's really great. And, that feeling of, and I hear it, I feel it, one coming back home, it's like, oh, I'm back. We here.
I'm back, baby.
And as you touched on, it's like, man, this is legit. I'm going to call in some of the markers. And, I feel the same way when, you just have this idea. Yeah. And then you're not sure if it's going to come back. You're making these different choices to follow, your passion, walk in faith, or what are the things that people say as to why they may pursue something that seems to be a little outside of the norm. And then when it comes together and it's your taste dictating it and it's driving it, it's just like, man, this is like barbecue. This is exactly what I wanted.
Exactly. Like, it reminds me that the reason and the fire of why I started it never died. It just needed a break. It needed time to reevaluate. It needed time to just sit and marinate. Yeah. And to be able to build out this community, this space. It's not new. It's just a fusion of what already exists and creating a collaborative space for artists of all different mediums. And so I'm just so excited to be able to bring the silly girl from Baltimore who had a dream, who would just sit in the back of people's shows, wanting to support everybody, building a space where I can continue to support everybody. But now be like, yo, I'm finna go on the road. You want to come with me? Like, that's really what I want. That's really what I want.
And I like the way that you took that assist that I was throwing out there and you used the marinade. I like that. I peeped that. I was like, barbecue. I was like, I don't think anybody's going to get it. You're like, yeah, let it marinate a little bit.
I picked that.
Yeah.
It's the glasses.
It's there. And so I want to move into the rapid fire portion. You're here, I got to always give this extra juice and attention to my Baltimore people. Even though people don't think I'm from Baltimore, which is troubling.
You say Baltimore.
Look, I'm 39. I went to City College. I went to Morgan. I don't know,
I
Lafayette
got time.
projects. It's like I got all of the things. Like
Yeah.
I was saying this before I moved to the rapid fire. I remember I was at Morgan. There was a dude who was from DC, and he asked like, "Where you from, bro?" And I was like, "I'm from here, here, and here. I lived in these different places." He's like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
all the drug spots," and I was like, "Stamped, stamped."
Literally.
Like, look, Deaky Land, whatever, gang.
Listen, say what you want to say, do what you want to do. Like my
None of those
parents
places exist
definitely,
anymore, by the way.
yeah, my parents definitely kept us out of Baltimore City for a little bit. But I ended up going to high school in Cherry Hill. Like we lived in Park Heights. I was like, Daddy, I'm sorry. Like you done, I'm out the county at this point, and you took me out the county in my formative years. But I love it here. I love it here. Like I really think us moving into the city for my family, it may have felt like, it was a traumatic time from us moving from the county to the city. But I'm really thankful for us moving into the city because it really allowed me to experience home in a different space, in a different way. Because Baltimore City and Baltimore County are two very different worlds. And
Speak on it.
I'm just saying, as like a transplant from Baltimore City into Baltimore County, I've been able to experience Baltimore in a very different light. And I think moving into the city, it allowed me to appreciate it more. So yeah, that's my take.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I got three rapid fire questions for you.
All right. Let's
One is related to something you said earlier because I pay attention.
Okay.
And the other two, we'll just get to the other two. But like as I always tell people, don't overthink these.
Okay.
All right, here's the first one. What is your go-to flavor for frozen cup or snowball?
Always gonna be either cherry with marshmallow on top.
Oof, that's a quiver in the soul.
Sorry.
Um, back in the project days, we used to sell frozen cups. That's why I was asking. Yeah.
Yeah, cherry on top with for snowballs, marshmallow on top always. I will always pay that extra 50-75 cents for it.
I
Always.
mean, look, I had a flavor that was going to happen with a partnership. It was going to be called the Wave Daddy, one of my aliases. I have a jersey that says it, so it's my name. It was coconut with the marshmallow and egg custard. Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Slaps. Toasted coconut specifically. So Baltimore to Pittsburgh, how does that work during the fall?
It's quite literally insane. I can do. First of all, I drive back and forth to Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I drive to Baltimore like I'm driving to the east side.
Okay.
So needless to say, it's a hop, skip, and a jump for me. But during the winter is when it's like harder because going from Pittsburgh to Baltimore, you got the mountains, and it's that one middle part on 70 where you don't know if it's really snowing or not. So yeah, I'm going home, but from November to like March, I'm staying home. I'm gonna chill out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it's
I'm trying to see if they converted you yet. That's all. I'm trying to see if they converted you.
absolutely not.
Okay, just making sure.
There's a bar. There's a bar out here. It's called Young's Brother.
Okay.
Young Brothers Bar. And inside the bar, they have a plaque on the wall that says, "We shoot Ravens fans." Every single time I know I'm going there, I pull out my Ravens shirt.
As one does.
I have a shirt that was made by Mia X that says DMV crossed out with Baltimore underneath.
Yeah.
And I take a picture under that sign every single time. You will never make me hate the Ravens. Never.
I'll share this with you before I go to the next one and the final one. I had this interview with this artist who's based in New York from Baltimore named Desmond Beach, and we were talking, and I told him about this time I went to New Orleans, and we have the same crabs in New Orleans that's Baltimore. Yes. So I'm in a bar and having like jambalaya or something,
right?
And I'm talking greasy about how better our crabs are than theirs. And they're like, the person I'm talking to, I get into an argument about it. It's a fake argument, but I'm like, how is this better? It was wild Baltimore pride. I'm like, this is where it comes from. And I'm telling you, your stuff is trash.
Don't play with us. Listen, I don't eat any. When I do seafood out here, it's very selected places. But baby, I'm not touching y'all crabs out here. I'm going home.
Yo.
After this phone call, I'm going to text my cousin and be like, can we get some crabs this week?
That's one does. Okay, so this is the last one. What is, and extra points if it's like really weird, but what's a fun fact about you that most people just don't know? This podcast is about authenticity and just kind of out there.
I'm really an introvert at heart. I really enjoy being home.
Mm,
The space that my husband and I have created in our house with our daughter,
yeah.
it's really my favorite place to be. Because when people see me on social media, I'm outside, I'm doing a networking thing. When I go to these events, I'm like the it sounds cocky to say, but like I'm in the middle of the dance floor, like I'm running around talking to as many people as I can. But baby, when I come home, oh, it's peace for me. I love it.
Yeah.
I will always come running home to that man and that baby every single time. Every single time.
So you have that ability that a lot of folks have to compartmentalize it and know
Mhm.
it's the thing I was getting over to my students. It's like picking the right tool for the right circumstance. And I run bits on the weekend. Like pretty much my partner's my audience of one. I'm just
Mhm.
running bits the entire time with her. But it's not like I'm 6'4". I'm a giant. So
I need to see this 6'4" because you said that when I was listening to one of your
I
episodes. I was
mean,
like,
I really take up a lot of space.
it doesn't give 6'4".
If I stand up, you'll probably see my kneecaps.
See, now you gotta come to the show so I can see you face to face. Because
but
now I need to see.
but it is this thing, right? Where
Yeah.
you know, people will see me like out there in the streets. It's like, oh, yo, that's Rob Lee, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to get out of the way.
Well,
Just
that's
trying to hide
it.
behind this tree.
Yep. I just want to go over here. Yeah, no, like I'm very much, I love being home. I love being in my space. I love just the space that we've created. Like just now, just running in the house, my daughter immediately was like, "Man," I'm like, "Hold on, baby." But it's just like, cause we have this huge beanbag chair in our house.
Yeah,
All three of us can sit in that beanbag chair. And when I tell you that is the one time I am like at peace,
yeah.
like it's really my happy place. So I'm really an introvert at heart, but I do what I got to do when I'm out in public. I'm act right.
So that's kind of it for the main part. You got off the rapid fire. We got all
Yeah.
the questions in. So in these final moments, there's two things I would like to do.
Hmm.
One, I want to thank you for coming on and spending some time with me. And two, I want to give you the space and opportunity to tell folks details, where to get tickets, just any of the shameless plug sort of points in these final moments.
Absolutely. So you all can find us on any social media platform at audaCITY Tours, AUDACITY Tours, TOURS, Facebook, Instagram. I'm about to make us a TikTok, and we're on LinkedIn for the professional baddies. Um, and then for anything relating to the tour, you'll find on our social media, but you can also go to our website, audacitytours.com, www.audacitytours.com. Make sure y'all, go check out our website. It has information from the Pittsburgh show. It has the Audacity news. For people that are wanting to donate, we also have a 501c3 where you can donate and have it be a tax write-off. All the information is on our website. And then if you just want to stay locked in with me, I'm doing my best to share this journey of what it's like to start a business from the ground up. So you can follow me on social media at D, because I think I'm Meg the Stallion. So THEE. Crystal Light, CrystalLite. Please don't sue me because it's not the same thing. So at Crystal Light on Instagram, and just follow my journey. I really feel like social media gives a very skewed experience on what it's like to start a business, because by the time it's going to social media, people are showing you the cars and the pretty things. No, baby, I want you to see these hard days. I want you to see these good days. I want you to know that you need to file these taxes, policies, standard operating procedures, the difference between an LLC and an S Corp and a C Corp, 501c3, 50c4. I'm just saying.
Speak on it. Speak.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So I'm doing my best to share my journey on social media. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Tickets are currently on sale. We will be on July 20th. We will be at Baltimore Unity Hall, 1505 Utah Place, 21217. Doors open at 6:00. And, get there early because, baby, once the show gets started, you don't want to miss it, because I'm just saying. I'm not going to tell you how the lineup is going to go. But July 20th, 6:00, meet us at Baltimore Unity Hall. Tickets are $25. And we have one VIP section left, $250. So do with that what you will.
And there you have it, folks. I want to again thank Crystal Wamalwa for coming on to the podcast, audaCITY Tours, audaCITY, and definitely pull up on July 20th. And get some tickets. Get some tickets now. You know all the information is in the episode. And for Crystal, I am Rob Lee, saying that there's art, culture, and community in and around your neck of the woods. You've just got to look for it.